The Houston Safari Club Foundation Worldwide Hunting Expo and Convention at the George R. Brown Convention Center, February 4th through the 6th, 2022. Hunting and fishing outfitters from around the world. Gear, firearms, optics, taxidermy, and more. Banquets, auctions, raffles, and entertainment. $10 at the door. Children 12 and under and active military with ID get in free. Proceeds support youth education, scholarships, conservation, and hunters' rights. Sponsored by Gunworks, Forlow, Capital Farm Credit, Wildlife Partners, and Boyd's Hardwood Gunstocks. Go to WeHuntWeGive.org to learn more.
Tradition, conservation, family, the outdoors. It matters to you. It matters to us. This is Hunting Matters. Presented by Houston Safari Club Foundation. Here's Joe Betar.
Good morning. Welcome back to Hunting Matters on KPRC 950. I'm your host, Joe Betar.
I am Ramon Robles.
What is up, Ramon?
A little intimidated.
Are you?
Little nervous.
Do I introduce myself? Or?
You can if you want,
Sure.
Mr. Pastorini.
I'm
Yes, sir.
Dan Pastorini.
Folks, if you don't
He
know.
says that nonchalantly.
Hey, Dan.
Oh, was that a good radio voice?
It was a very good radio voice. Yes, sir.
I want to be just like Joe and Michael.
Yeah. You should set your aspirations a bit higher, but
Yeah,
I
you
appreciate
should,
it.
especially with me.
Yeah.
Michael's done it for a living, and this is like a part-time gig
That's
for
true.
me. So,
Yeah, we have Dan Pastorini in studio. This is very nice.
pretty
What an
cool.
honor.
Pretty cool. My sister's texting me right now. She was a former Houston resident. She's like, "You're having Dan Pastorini on." I said, "Yeah, I am." She goes, "Can you just put it on FaceTime and just let me talk to him for a little bit?" I'm like,
Is she cute?
my sister?
Yeah.
She's cute.
Now this is a
she's
tough
cute.
question for any brother
That's right. Yeah.
to describe his sister as cute.
I will say I love my sister.
But when Dan
but-
Pastorini
That's bad. That's just not right.
does that ever get old, Dan, when
What?
people fawn over you?
God, you make it sound like I'm Burt Reynolds or Joe Namath, for crying out loud.
Well,
No, it's very, it's flattering, I think, but more of it is done in jest. My girlfriend, who is a very beautiful woman,
we'll cut that part out.
she's, she's very conscientious about looks and everything else, and so she always tells me, if I look good or not. So I guess she sent me out here to do this interview, and she said I look good. So
Well,
There you go.
Well, Michael Berry, the other show that I produce, says that you are a very good-looking man for 78.
well. I don't want to go there, but Michael, when he was younger, I think saw my Playgirl fold out, and that did it.
Michael, if you're listening, it's coming. It's coming.
It's now I've got the mic. Mike.
There you go. You're in charge. Yeah, I don't know, Dan, about you or Ramon. When I walk out of the house, my wife we've been together 31 years now, and she's pretty easy on me. But sometimes I get that look or that she looks at me, she goes, "You're not wearing that, are you?"
Yeah, you're not wearing that shirt, are you? Or
Yeah.
those pants or that coat. Yeah, I get that, but I don't get a look. I get scolded.
There you go.
But that's a good
yeah.
woman, though, because most...
No, it's not. No.
All right.
So, folks, if you don't know by now, we're joined by Dan Pastorini. Dan is a former NFL quarterback. He played a few games and former Pro Bowler, number 7 in our hearts and rosters. Dan, thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to talk about a bunch of different things over the next 45 minutes or so. But, I grew up one of those kids. One of the first books, actually, my sister handed to me, I read as a young teenager, which maybe I should have been reading at that age, was North Dallas 40. And you played in that era, and I read those stories, and I saw the movie with Nick Nolte and those sort of things, and that was just a whole different era.
It was, and the movie gave it some justice, but it was actually worse than what it really was in the movie. We had a lot of openness back then. I mean, there were guys doing steroids, and you kind of, if you wanted to play in the game, and you had a guy across from you that was a Pro Bowler every year that was 275, 80 pounds and could run a 4.5, 4.6 40, and you're playing linebacker, you had to do something to compensate that. So, me as a quarterback, I couldn't do any of that stuff, nor would I have done any of that stuff. But there were a lot of. I remember one time we were playing a game in Cincinnati, and I asked our trainer, I'll leave his name. It was early in my career, and leave his name out of this. But anyway, he comes up to me. I said, "Look," can you give me something to sleep tonight? I want to sleep real good for the game tomorrow. So he said, okay, here. And he gave me these 2 pills to take before dinner. And then we always had meetings after dinner, like about 7 o'clock that night. And then they'd go about till 8:30, 9 o'clock. Then you were free. Go to your room and go to bed, whatever you wanted to do. Well, by the time I got to the first 10 minutes of the meeting, the first meeting, I couldn't sit up in my chair. I mean, and I came up to him at breakfast the next morning. I said, "What the hell did you give me?" He said, "I gave you 2 Quaalude for 714s." He called them Quaaludes. They were Quaaludes, 2 Quaaludes. He gave me 2 Quaaludes to go to sleep.
Wow.
I didn't sober up till halftime.
I bet.
And I told him, "Don't ever give me that crap again." I just, no thanks.
But how'd you play? Did you play good?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
I don't remember.
About the fourth quarter, you woke up?
I don't remember anything after dinner.
Well, you, I mean, obviously, you know, I'm going to ask you and mention some things that you've been asked and mentioned 1,000 times before. I'm just curious for my own benefit and the benefits of our listeners. You know, we're speaking to primarily a hunting and fishing and outdoor audience, and a lot of these folks know you. But, I mean, you played and excelled in the era of Jim Plunkett, Archie Manning, Earl Campbell, White Shoes Johnson, all those guys. I mean, the talent. I mean, yeah. I'm a little bit slanted. I like college football, maybe a little bit more than I like pro football now. But the talent that you guys played with and against during that era is unheralded.
There was a lot of great talent. In fact, in 1971, at that time they referred to it as the year of the quarterback because Plunkett was the first pick, Archie Manning was the second pick, and I was the third pick in the NFL draft. And it waited till 50 years later before there were 3 picks in the first round. The first 3 picks in the first round were quarterbacks, and that was this year. Yeah. With the quarterbacks they took this year. But I don't know. It was a different game played then. I think we played for a different reason. We weren't well paid. I mean,
sure. To
give you an example, my first contract as a number 1 draft choice here, my total package for 6 years was $250,000. Wow. And $100,000 of that was a bonus loan that I had to pay back in 10 years, 1981. But my first year's salary and second year and third year was $25,000, $30,000, and $35,000. And I also punted those 3 years. So I held 2 positions. So I was a bargain.
Yeah.
But, I didn't realize till Sid Gilman came here in 1974, or actually 73, I guess it was, maybe 74. And I went in, and he took over the coaching job from Bill Peterson. And I said, "Do you mind if I get paid a little bit more than what my offensive linemen that aren't protecting me are?"
Yeah.
And he said, "What do you mean?" I told him. He just shrugged his shoulders. He walked out of the room, and he came back 5 minutes later with 2 contracts. And that was the first time I made 6 figures. I made $110,000 and $125,000.
Wow.
Glad you asked.
That's cool. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break here on Hunting Matters. We're joined today by the legendary quarterback, Mr. Dan Pastorini. We'll be right back on the other side on Hunting Matters on KPRC 950.
I was driving.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Folks, you know what's good when you're sitting around a campfire after a day in the field? A really nice cigar. Our friends at Lucho Cigars, based right here in Houston, Texas, offer hand-rolled cigars using Cuban seed tobacco cultivated in the Esteli region of Nicaragua. Once they're rolled, then they age them for 8 months. The aging process amplifies the aroma and distinct taste of a Lucho cigar. And if you join the Lucho Cigar Club right now, you can receive 3 premium Lucho cigars for only $29.95. There are 3 different membership levels to choose from. Go to lucho.com/cigars, sign up now, and receive an exclusive offer just for listening to Hunting Matters or for being a member of the Houston Safari Club Foundation. That's LUCHO, Lucho Cigars, the world's finest.
Have you heard about the Houston Safari Club Foundation? They're a nonprofit organization that provides annual scholarships to college students, hunting and fishing trips, and outdoor education programs for hundreds of students each year. And they fund conservation projects at home and abroad to protect habitat and wildlife. A community of hunters and people passionate about the outdoors. Monthly events, an annual convention, member benefits, and so much more. Whether you hunt quail in South Texas or big game around the world, this is the place for you. Become a member today. Go to WeHuntWeGive.org to learn more. WeHuntWeGive.org.
I love the colorful clothes you wear and the way the sunlight plays upon her hair. hear the sound of a gentle wind on the wind that lifts her perfume through the air.
Good morning. Welcome back to Hunting Matters on KPRC 950. I'm your host, Joe Betar.
I'm Ramon Robles.
We are joined today by former NFL quarterback and Pro Bowler, Mr. Dan Pastorini. Dan, thanks again for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So before we jumped into the break there, we were talking about salaries.
Right.
I'd like to get your take on salaries then and now.
Well, now you've got, I think the big guy as far as the quarterbacks are concerned is Patrick Mahomes. He just signed a $500 million contract for 10 years. So that's $50 million a year. These guys make more in a game than I made in a career.
Yeah.
And the bad part about it that disappoints me is that the NFL hasn't taken care of the pre-93 players.
Right.
The pre-93 players are guys like me that played in the early years. The guys that played with broken ribs and broken feet and broken fingers and broken bones. And they just kind of turned their back on us. They gave us a bump this year for I think, well, right now, I played 13 years, and it's been up since last year because of the efforts of John Riggins' wife, Lisa Marie Riggins, and a group of others who went and took it upon themselves to help their husbands and former players.
Yeah.
And the thing is about the pre-93 players, we're dying off at the rate of about 150 a year. And now as we get older, it's getting more and more. So when we started, when this big collective bargaining agreement came in 1993, we had about 12,000 players that were in that category.
Right.
Now we're down to about 3,000. And all they did, they just gave us a kicker and another $110 or something per vested year. So over and above what I was making before, my total retirement package with no medical benefits, no nothing, is about $7,000 a month. Whereas these guys now, when they retire, after 93, when they retire, they get like they're drawing $1 million plus. They get full medical benefits. They get they were paid their college tuition. If they were going to school, they get that paid for. They get so much more, and yet these guys that made the game, and we struck sacrificing our $30,000 contract so these guys could have free agency today.
Right.
And the thing that just disappoints me about the league and Goodell and the Players Association is they're making big bucks.
Sure.
The ones that are working the system, but the players that made it are still suffering. And when I see guys that are dying off, I've had 3 players, friends of mine that I played with, die off this year.
Yeah.
And to see what they went through and to see what these guys have as benefits is just unfair. And I don't understand why the league doesn't do something about that. You don't have that many players left in that era. So, at least give them some dignity and help them. But they're not helping them.
Is that something you guys have to approach the NFL through the Players Association, the Players Union, or is that just all independent efforts where you guys are going back to them and saying, look?
It's all the pressure that Lisa Marie did on the Players Association and Goodell, and she was politically connected in Washington D.C. and John was too when he played there, and she just really took the bull by the horns, and she at least got us something. She wanted upping it up to $500 or an additional $500 per vested year.
Right.
So that helped bring it around a little bit.
I watch a lot of sports, Ramon. I know you do too, and you don't hear that story.
Yeah.
I mean,
they don't talk about it.
They don't talk about it.
It's like everything else. They don't talk about it.
Yeah.
But it's there.
Yeah.
What's the holdup, Dan? I mean, they have the money.
They have the money. They're greedy. I mean, you got how much is Goodell making?
Yeah.
How much is I don't even know the guy's name. It's the NFL Players Association, the lawyer. Anyway, he's not
hurting.
No, and neither was the guy that was the president of the association before. But I mean, they're just they're the ones making the money, and they're not taking care of their ball players, their teammates.
Yeah, that's unfortunate when
they turn their backs on us.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I can't speak to that firsthand, of course, but you guys played a game, a vicious game, and provided entertainment and respite. I mean, for so many people,
modern day gladiators.
Yeah, but just the distraction from everyday life. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was the first thing people were rushing back to after 9/11. Let's go to a baseball game, please. Yeah. Can we do something sports related?
Yeah.
They were in
Same thing during the pandemic.
Exactly.
And that's unfortunate that you're having to live and tell that story that it's just not fair, it's not right, and that people rely on sports at all kinds of levels as a distraction or as a joy. I mean, I'll wake up on Saturday morning, throw some ribs on the grill. I'm like, hey, I'm ready to go, Yeah. And that's unfortunate that's what you guys have to deal with and face on this end of your journey, Yeah,
it's when you retire, you think you'd have some kind of a nest egg to where you'd be comfortable, but unfortunately, a lot of us still have to work, and I'm one.
Yeah,
and I was the number one choice.
Yeah,
so.
And excelled at what you did, obviously.
But you got your looks, Dan. Don't you
That's
at least
right.
feel better about that?
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't eat looks.
So, Dan, some people are not aware that you were quite a baseball player growing up.
Yeah, I was. I like baseball. Willie Mays was my hero growing up.
Yeah.
San Francisco Giants, and my father called me Willie till his dying day. He never
Really?
called
Wow.
me Dan or Dante
Wow.
ever, and he always called me Willie because Willie hustled, and he was the epitome of a ball player. And he said, "Always hustle, baby, hustle. Don't walk from your drills. Go to run to your drills." And it's just something that I enjoyed playing. I went to college on a baseball scholarship. I played in Alaska in 1968, the same year I was drafted by the New York Mets. And I played in Alaska in the summer league because it was my freshman year in college. And I played with guys like Brent Strom, who happens to be the coach here of the Astros, fine pitching coach. I played with Jim Barr. I played with Bob Boone. I played with Bob Gallagher. Bob Gallagher and I played baseball at Bellarmine College Prep when they played against each other when he went to Stanford and I went to Santa Clara. Mm-hmm. And who else did we have on that team? We had some crazy guys and just Dave Kingman.
Yeah.
Was on that team. And then, here we go to Japan and play amateur teams over there for a 2-week tour of Japan. Mm. We're riding the bullet trains from Hakone, Nagoya, Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto, and all these. It was just a journey through the country. And what a beautiful country, clean country.
Yeah.
And, we're playing in front of Tokyo Giant Stadium in front of the Emperor of Japan.
Wow.
And the place was packed. Now, batting practice, we were hitting balls out of the park, which they were impressed with our strength.
Yeah.
But then the pitchers cheated because they didn't throw anything from up here, anything above their shoulder.
Right.
Everything was submarine, and it came in about 70 miles an hour, and it would break 20 different directions just before the plate. And I don't think I got a hard foul ball off the whole time we were there, but what a great experience that was. But I was drafted by the Mets in '68. I was a shortstop. I was kind of a career guy in high school. Then they moved me to the outfield. I played right field. And I was a pretty good hitter. I was a 300-plus hitter. And they wanted to make me a pitcher. And I go, well, yeah, but I like to play every day, I mean, I'm a good hitter, aren't I? And you're a good hitter, but we want you to pitch. You got a strong arm. So they offered me good money, and they drafted me like way, way down. Thinking that I was wanting to go to college and play baseball and football. And that was the same year they drafted a couple guys by the name of Nolan Ryan and Tom Seaver.
Yeah, I heard of them.
And then the next year they were the amazing Mets and won the World Series.
Wow.
So another good business choice on my part.
You needed that magic 8-ball that year.
It could have been. That would have been something. I often wonder about that. Maybe I wouldn't have made it either, but I kind of stuck with what I did, and then in college I was injured every year. I broke a foot. I broke strained my medial collateral ligaments and was in a cast. And missed most of my playing time. I've only played about 10 games, but then fortunately played in the East-West Shrine game and the Senior Bowl game, and was voted captain and whatnot. Showed that I could play amongst the big competition.
That's cool. Well, I appreciate
you sharing
that with us because a lot of people don't know about your baseball background. I'm sure the stories between Alaska and Japan, we could talk with hours just on those.
Oh, it was what a trip. I mean, here's an 18-year-old kid over in Japan.
That is so cool. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break on Hunting Matters on KPRC 950. We'll see you on the other side.
It's the same old tune, fiddle and guitar. Where do we take it from here?
Good morning. Welcome back to Hunting Matters on KPRC 950. I'm your host, Joe Vitar.
I am Ramon Robles, one-time record holder of the longest field goal in NFL history, but that was just broke. What do you think about that?
You know, I don't know. I mean, when Dempsey did it at 63 yards, was it 63?
Yeah, it was.
63
Yeah,
with half a
it was
foot.
like, yeah, I mean, Alex Karras is a buddy of mine, and he was saying, he said, I'm not even going to rush. He said, I just want to take a look at this and watch it. So he just sat there and turned around, and you see him on film, and he's watching that thing. He said, I couldn't believe it. He said, I couldn't believe they were going to try it. He said, but if they thought they could make it, he said, I'll let them do it. But 67?
66.
Jeez.
Isn't that something?
That's
that's on the
crazy.
other side of the logo.
Yeah.
And he's a little guy too.
Yeah,
See that
from
cheat?
PT.
They cheat. They got strong legs and they get a lower center of gravity. They just
Didn't even think of that.
can't do
I
it.
think they had some kid in college kick one close,
Something like that.
close to
Yeah.
60 this weekend,
Dan,
too.
I submit that field goals from 55 and further should be 4 points.
Fine by me.
Okay.
I mean, they're changing everything else in the game. Why not?
What do you think about that? What do you think about extra points being 33 yards now?
I
Do
know-
you
I-
care about the game now? Should I
No.
be asking you these questions? Yeah,
really.
I don't want to
don't.
go down that road.
don't.
Yeah, we'll skip that.
Arizona, they took the knee. I don't. I'm a
Yeah.
Patriot first. I'm sorry. Hate me if you want, people.
No,
I don't
no.
care. But no, it's a different game. I tell you, when they had that alternate football league here,
Yeah.
and June Jones was
Yeah,
coaching,
yeah.
I enjoyed watching that. I really enjoyed watching those guys because these guys aren't making any money, and they're out there just wanting to play. And they had a pretty darn good team. And June Jones is a great coach. He's a smart man. I played against him when he was with Atlanta, and I can't believe that they don't get him here. But anyway, we'll see. Anyway, he did a good job coaching those kids. We went over there. I became pretty close with the team and everything else, and just watching them play. But they weren't overly talented, but they worked well together.
Yeah.
It reminded me of us in Luv Ya Blue. We weren't pretty dancers, as Bum would say, but we danced every dance.
Yeah.
And he was the type of coach that could make you better men. And that's all he cared about. He didn't really care about the winning and losing and the X's and O's. He cared about getting us together and making us work together as a team, which he did far better than any other coach I've ever played for. And to this day, we're friends. All of us are friends. And which I'm sure we'll talk about later, but these guys come in for our Luv Ya Blue reunion every year for the last 12 years,
Yep.
and they've helped me raise over $1,500,000 for the charity, which I'm a chairman of the board now, Be an Angel,
Right.
and they do it every year without fail.
Well, let's don't miss out on that opportunity while we're here. Let's talk about Be an Angel.
Okay.
What is it? What's your involvement?
My involvement is, when we started our golf tournament, Be an Angel became our beneficiary, as it was for the NFL Alumni Association, which I was involved with for a while, but then again, I didn't appreciate where the money was going. So all the proceeds from our tournament, go to Be an Angel. Be an Angel helps improve the quality of life of profoundly deaf children and families with multiple handicapped children with adaptive care and equipment to help improve their quality of life. And these people, the board of directors I work with and the volunteers I work with, are the best people I've ever met. They are truly angels. And they take pride in what they do. And everybody that gets involved with us takes that same pride and carries it forth. We're getting ready to expand now up into the Dallas-Fort Worth area and hopefully get into other cities. We also have a Casa de Light up in the Dominican Republic. The Dominican Republic, they take these handicapped kids and they cast them aside. I mean, they basically leave them like pets on the side of the road. And so, one of our board members, Ray Solcher, goes down there with some other board members on a yearly basis, and they have built this House of Light to house these children, and we help raise the money to support those children, to give them some security in life.
Right.
So it's a wonderful organization, and I'm proud to be their chairman. This is my final year of being a chairman, and we have our golf tournament coming up in October 24th and 25th, which is the 24th is poker tournament, and then that segues into our cocktail hour and silent auction, and then we have our gala, and then we have our live auction. And, we're usually done by the old timers midnight, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Anything after 10 o'clock, nobody's there.
I get you.
So that they can sleep in and get up and tee off at an early, crack of 11 o'clock in the morning.
Sure.
So it's a laid back deal. It's a lot of fun, and we raise a lot of money. And I'm proud that my guys still support me, and I'm proud to be part of the Be an Angel organization because they're wonderful, wonderful, and those kids are something else.
Yeah, there's nothing like children's charities, and obviously you guys have identified a great need to help these kids, and folks can learn about the upcoming golf tournament and the poker and everything at danpastoriniCharity.org.
Correct. And also beanangel.org.
And beanangel.org, correct. Want to make sure. So folks, go to danpastoriniCharity.org and beanangel.org. Learn about this organization, support them. Help them with their mission of helping these children throughout their lives.
You a good golfer, Dan?
You know what? I can thank the pandemic for that. I went out to Golf Club of Houston, and I was out there. I actually joined up, and then recently I had to kind of walk away because I wasn't getting my money's worth out of it. I wasn't going out there as much. And Charlie Epps is my coach, the golf doctor, which everybody's familiar with.
Yep.
And, he's helped me with my game, but I was able to get out there and work with him a couple days a week. And I just kind of go over and practice some chipping and putting, which is not my forte. And now that's kind of my forte, and I'm a pretty good chipper and putter. I have lowered my handicap about 3 points, and so I've dropped from an 11.5 to an 8.5. And but that's subject to change. I mean, I still
stay
don't.
with it.
I was blessed with being a pretty good natural athlete, where I could figure out ways to not look and embarrass myself. Golf is the only game that embarrasses me because I'll go out there and I'll be hitting shots that I can't believe I'm hitting, and they're good shots. Mm-hmm. And then it's the same swing, but the ball's not going anywhere near where I wanted to go. What happened? And I don't know why. So. Yeah. I'm good when I don't know why, and I'm bad when I don't know why. So it's just the
most frustrating, confusing game ever invented.
Yeah, it's a great way to go out and spend an afternoon frustrated.
Dan, after football, got into motorsports.
Did.
Adrenaline junkie always, or does this come later?
No. I've always been a car buff all my life, especially cars with horsepower.
Well, you grew up when they made cool American-made cars.
My first car, my graduation present from Bellarmine College Prep in 1967, my dad bought me a 1967 SS 396 Chevelle.
Wow.
4 on the floor, no power, anything but steering and brakes, no windows, just horsepower. Drove it off the lot for $2,600.
Jeez.
Tax, title, and license, $2,600. Can you believe that?
No.
Man.
And then, fortunately, in the Bay Area there, we had Fremont Drag Strip. We'd go out, my buddies and I. We had some guys from Southern California that, had the hot rods. We had one guy, Flip Jebby, who had this Cobra, and he had a Corvette that just was stupid. It was stupid fast. But we'd go out there and grudge race and have a lot of fun. But then after football, I was racing boats when I was playing football, and then after football, it was a natural segue for me to get my buddy Bobby Rowe, who was a funny car champion, and he was the one that made me world champion, or not world champion, but set world records in our drag boat, the quarterback sneak, when I was playing, and that record held. We were the first drag boat to break jet drag boat to break the 9-second barrier. We ran an 891 and eventually got that down to an 826, and elapsed time at 140 miles an hour.
Jeez.
And then we got into the dragsters, which is not a good way to go with on a budget because it takes a lot of money, and you can't compete with the big boys unless you got money. And fortunately, we earned the respect, and I had a friend of mine, Larry Enderley, that had the oil company in Baytown, Texas, who supported all my racing. And I was ready to hang it up. After we got started, I just couldn't. We were match racing. We'd go to San Antonio and race and then get paid for it and sell T-shirts and make about $30,000. And then we'd go blow that up at Dallas for a race, a national event up there. So, I one year I drove my truck to go to all the national events and all the match races to make money. Some 50,000 miles.
Wow.
And I drove the tractor trailer myself.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of work. It was a lot of passion. I love racing. I still do. I could get into drag racing today, no question. Road racing is a different story. You got to be really good shape. And anybody that says those guys ain't athletes,
Yeah.
don't know anything
Who would be
about-
that stupid to
They-
suggest
they-
something like that?
Yeah, they don't know anything about racing because you got to be in shape to drive those cars.
All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break. Talking today with Mr. Dan Pastorini on Hunting Matters on KPRC 950.
Never even call me by my name. I've got a good woman at home who thinks I do no wrong,
Great music.
but sometimes
Nothing but the best for you. All right, folks, we're back with Hunting Matters on KPRC 950 with our guest, Mr. Dan Pastorini. Dan, thanks once again for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Joe. I'm losing my voice. I've been talking too much.
That's
Still
okay.
early in the morning. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. That's all right.
Can I get you some more coffee? I'll run out and get you
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Can you grab me a colache when you're
You
out?
shut
Ryan?
Hamburger.
It's getting late. We've only had 4 donuts this
Yeah.
morning. So, I know we talked a little bit about football. I'm curious to get your take. Growing up, being a young man that was recruited, played quarterback in the NFL. I'm from Louisiana originally, so there's a lot of buzz around this kid Arch Manning coming up. Have you kept up with his story at all?
Well, I know the family well. I know Archie and I are dear friends to this day. In fact, his birthday is 1 week before mine.
Really?
Yeah. He's a week older. And I remember Peyton and Eli and what's the third one?
I should know this.
I'm
I
blank.
grew-
I know-
I grew up in the
I know.
I could see his face.
It'll come to us.
Yeah.
It'll come to us. Anyway,
Cooper.
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 Thanks, Cooper. And he was actually the better athlete of the three.
Yeah.
And it was fun watching those kids playing catch and playing football in the back. And naturally, Peyton was directing traffic. He was
Sure.
just take charge guy, which he is. And just great kids. And I tell you what, the Hall of Fame, I was so proud. In fact, I texted Archie right after that. And I said, you and Olivia did a great job raising your kids, because that was the best Hall of Fame acceptance speech
Really?
I have ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, the kid is so very intelligent and unselfish and, winner all the way. The whole family is.
That
But-
documentary they did a few years back about him and his sons, about Archie and his sons.
Yeah.
I can't watch that with
no.
a dry eye. I mean,
No.
and and they asked him at the end. They said, "What do you want your legacy to be, or what do you want on your tombstone?" He said, "I just want to be known as a good dad."
Ooh.
You
Yeah.
know? And they begged him for years to do that documentary. He said, nope. Finally, he said, okay, I'll do it. One reason, he liked the young filmmaker, I guess, and then he
Yeah.
said, only if it's about the family. It's not just about me.
Yeah.
And I mean,
That's him.
grew up watching you, grew up watching him. I was a frustrated Saints fan when I was a kid growing up in Louisiana my entire life, watching you guys get the crap beat out of you and banged up. And
Yeah.
the talent, you and Archie had, but you just didn't have the line, and you have the army around you. But I don't know. I have a great amount of respect and admiration for you guys playing in that era, because that was as a child growing up, I was looking at that going, wow, Archie Manning, Dan Pastorini, that sort of thing.
Well,
So, and they
thank you.
they seemed like what you guys endured and went through and all that stuff for the love of the game and for the sacrifice and that sort of thing it's always held a place in my heart. But I'm glad to hear that you're friends with them, because they just seem like good people.
They're the best. And, every year I wish him a happy birthday. He wishes me a happy birthday. And, he'll just check. He's got a favorite saying. He says, I'll say, hey, happy birthday. And he says, thanks, pal. He uses that term pal. I go, what the hell's pal?
Where'd that come from?
Where'd that come from? But that's Archie.
That's cool. That's cool.
Archie.
Dan, you're going to be joining the Houston Safari Club Foundation, who I work for, in late October. Actually, right before your charity golf tournament, folks. If you want to participate, we do an annual sporting clays tournament. It's called, well, we're doing it this year, and moving forward, we're going to raise funds for our youth education programs. We take a lot of kids hunting and fishing. We do a career awareness day at our convention. I'm not sure if you know about this, Dan, but we bring in about 200 area high school students to our convention on Friday, and they get to meet professionals from game wardens to taxidermists to gunsmiths.
Awesome.
Because these kids, a lot of them, some of them aren't made for college.
Yeah.
Some of them are. Some of them don't know their careers in the outdoor world exist. So we bring them in for half a day, we bust them in, bring them lunch. They get to meet all these professionals. They get a classroom-style setting. So that's what we're raising the money for through the golf tournament. To bring these kids in for career awareness, we take about 100 of them hunting and fishing that would never have that opportunity every year. And then we scholarship every year. We scholarship 25 kids. Each one of them get a $6,000 scholarship in their hand to go and pursue a career in the outdoor industry.
Awesome.
So it's you're going to be part of that on October 23rd. Folks, sign up and come out and talk to Dan, meet him.
You going to give him a gun?
Yeah, I'm
I
going to
have
give
my
him a
own
gun.
gun.
Shotgun? Ooh.
Multiple.
Any good?
I've been known to pop a few.
Yeah.
I'm not. I got some friends that are much better.
You should bring them.
So you grew up in
Can I
California.
load the team?
Yeah. Oh, of course you can load the team. We'll have some ringers out there.
Have you
for
heard
you.
of Dr. Nadim Nasir?
Yes.
Yeah, he's on my team.
Okay.
And then Danny Davis is another guy on my team,
Sweet.
and he's kind of a fatter version of Nadim. And then we have Danny's brother Drake, who is actually kind of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde of the other two.
Yeah.
But they all pretty much can run the table.
Okay.
I'm just kind of bring the credibility down a notch so that
There you
we
go.
don't get booed all the way. They said, well, they had that guy there that only got 80.
Now, you grew up in California. Did you hunt and fish growing up?
Absolutely.
How'd that start?
My father was an avid hunter.
Okay.
And in fact, I had a Marlin 410 single shot that I had to cock with both thumbs.
It's hard to pull
8
back.
years old.
Yep.
And then first time he took me hunting, I get this dove in my. I was a pretty good shot because I had a BB gun all the time playing as a kid, and I had this thing in my sight, dead to rights, and click, no. And he looks at it. He said, "The firing pin's broke." He said, "I told you not to dry fire that weapon." So he blamed it on me. Finally, 35 years later, I realized he was a little unsafe with me being 8 years old carrying a gun.
Right.
So he took the fire pin out of the gun. But all those years until I was 30-some years old, I felt guilty for it was my fault because I dry fired the gun.
Yep.
To this day, I don't dry fire a gun just in case.
There you go.
So
Still hunting fish today?
I do. I got a lot of friends that have great places they invite me to, and go down to Bill Miller's ranch. Mark Denard invites me to his place up in Tilden. In fact, we just came back from a dove hunt. I missed a good dove hunt last week, and I'm waiting to go back down to Hebronville, where Billy's ranch is.
Okay.
They're flying pretty good down there. But I like the dove hunt. I don't like to deer hunt anymore. I like to go deer hunting. I like to sit and watch them, you know. But I'll get some meat. I'll shoot a doe or something like that. But usually for my friends that want meat. But I'm a bird hunter primarily.
Yeah. The teal season this year has been good. I've
Really?
been hearing some really good reports.
You know, I
about
never
teal.
could understand Texans hunting teal when it's 90 degrees out.
Yeah.
I mean, I've hunted teal in California,
Yeah.
but it's like 35 degrees.
Sure.
It's drizzling and it's cold and the wind's blowing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's, hunting season started. I've shot a few doves, so that's the next progression. Let's go shoot some teal. But you're right. It's not, I mean, I've done it here. I've done it in swamps of South Louisiana, and typically this time of year you fight mosquitoes, and then you're lucky if the alligators don't pull your birds off the water. I mean, I've had hundreds of birds eaten. Huh? Yeah, or you. Yeah, or your dog. I mean, there's been times we can't put dogs in the water because there's so many alligators, but that's a whole nother story. All right, folks, I just want to remind you of a couple of things. So Dan is chairman of, Dan, what's the name of the charity?
Be an Angel Foundation.
Be an Angel Foundation. So go to beanangel.org.
Correct.
Okay, beanangel.org or danpastoriniCharity.org. Support the upcoming fundraiser they've got. They're going to be playing some poker. They're going to be hitting some golf balls, telling a lot of lies out on the golf course, but it's all going towards a good cause. And then if you want to hang out with Dan, go to wehuntwegive.org. He's going to be at our annual fundraiser, our Sporting Clays tournament at the Greater Houston Sports Club on October the 23rd. and come out and meet and say hello. And Ramon, I know there's got to be a burning question you got to ask before we get out.
Wait, let me throw something out there.
Yeah,
how
go
about
ahead.
how about if you give us an auction item for a team for next year to shoot in your
For your charity?
Yeah,
Done.
we'll auction it and we'll give you a foursome to auction for my tournament.
Done.
Deal.
Oh,
It's all
how
about
that?
kids.
So we'll-
Appreciate that.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll support kids on both sides. Absolutely.
That deal maker.
That's a no-brainer.
That just happened.
Did that just happen or
It
what?
just happened right in
Did you
front
just
of us.
become my best friend or what?
Probably.
Want to go do some karate in the garage?
Or probably.
Probably.
All right. Okay, folks. Well, that's all the time we've got this week,
that
Dan.
it?
Yeah, we're done, I think. You got
Sure.
another
We could
question?
do another hour.
We're done.
Just
You can hang
stay
out
there.
with us all day long. We'll drink cheap coffee and eat bad donuts. All right, folks. Thanks once again to Mr. Dan Pastorini for joining us on Hunting Matters on KPRC 950. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
She's a gold dry.
Awesomeness.
That wasn't too painful.